Maybe somebody has run out on the field. Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs at the 50. He runs at the 40. The guy is drunk.
Welcome to another off-season edition of Fantasy and Chill. I'm your quarterback, Ryan Keller, joined by my man, Ethan Hargrave.
Chillin', what's up?
Yo. And as always, producer Matt keeping the show going.
Yeah, barely. That intro might be a little bad because I forgot I was supposed to point to you and I was just dancing. So
wait, I thought your point was the point. Was that a dance move?
That was just a dance move, but it whatever. We'll just go.
As soon as I started talking, I was like, I wonder if that was his real point because it wasn't very demonstrative.
Putting it together with duct tape.
Yeah, this. I mean, it's still preseason, so we're not in our final form yet. Yeah.
So last week we talked about free agent moves and a bunch of trades that happened over the offseason. Today we are going to tackle the rookies. So I can't think of a better way to start it with your first overall pick from the 2018 draft. We had the quarterback Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma going to the Cleveland Browns. Now, from a fantasy impact, Hugh Jackson's already said that Tyrod, and let me make sure I say it right, Tyrod Taylor is the starter out of the gate. But Baker's looked pretty good in his preseason games, and I think it's just a matter of time before he takes the job over.
One way or the other, I think either Tyrod, God bless him, bless his knees, he might bless him. I think he might get hurt or something like that. Just because he just always seems like he's banged up or one way or the other.
He isn't the most durable guy.
Yeah, he's not the most durable guy. His play style is a little reckless sometimes. I love watching him play, but yeah, I think maybe especially if the Browns, if there's a big old Cleveland steamer, if they put one of those up like they normally do, then I suspect that old Baker will get the go-ahead green light to jump in there behind center and have some fun. From a fantasy standpoint, I don't see him having an immediate impact, though. Naturally, but it's fun. It'd be fun to watch.
So when he does inevitably take over this job, this isn't a guy you're going to feel too comfortable throwing out there?
Not 100%. There's way better options, I think, much safer options, but he's something to watch. Like if you're in a keeper league or something like that, go ahead and grab him. But because he does show some flashes, some real solid flashes of having potential to be a star, but in the NFL, or at least a very serviceable quarterback in the NFL. These last 2 years, actually, it looks like the crop has been real nice. But especially versus years past. But yeah. Other than that, I'm passing. Yeah.
Do y'all think the Browns are going to be better this year, though?
They have to be.
Yeah.
Law of
Matt, they didn't win a game last year.
I know. So do you think they're going to be in contention for playoffs? Maybe.
No.
No, you don't think so?
I think they'll be pushing for
that's another thing.
5 or 6 wins or so.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse and say Hugh Jackson, but Hugh Jackson.
Well, okay, so 6 wins. With that said, that's kind of you're somewhat relevant. Do you think they just pull Tyrod if he's doing bad?
I think at the end of this, towards the end of the season, yeah.
If he's not doing bad, do you think they'll pull Tyrod?
If he's not doing bad,
if they're not winning,
I think if you're
well, you said 6 games.
Yeah.
Okay, 6-10 is not a very good record.
You're not going to play all
winning.
6-10 in the AFC North. You're not.
No, you're not going to the playoffs, but you're still putting together some games. I don't know if
starting
you're
at some point this year.
I don't know if he will. Tyrod's a solid QB. He doesn't turn the ball over.
He is, but
that's all you're asking. If you're Cleveland, just don't turn the ball over.
Like Ethan said, I think he'll get probably injured at some point. At least, if not like fully injured, he'll be a little banged up to where they're not going to run him out there.
So possibly not till after their bye week then, whenever that is.
I don't know when their bye week is. That's your job, so you want to look that up.
Yeah, well, it's not that important. It's not the first 5 weeks of the season.
All right. Next 3 guys all three of these guys are probably going to be, well, I don't know about one of them, but these first two are definitely probably going to be starting week 1. We have Sam Darnold, who was the 3rd pick, going from USC to the New York Jets, and Josh Allen, who was the 7th pick, going from Wyoming to the Buffalo Bills. Who do we like better out of those two, Darnold or Allen?
Are we just lumping them up? I mean, that's really who do you think is going to start, isn't it?
They're both starting.
Are they though? I don't know.
Who else are the Jets or Buffalo going to start?
Jets have Teddy Bridgewater, man.
They have Bridgewater, but
Bridgewater's look decent.
Yeah.
And then McCarron, they just said he's. They thought he was going to have a broken collarbone, but he's actually turned out to be fine. So they still might throw McCarron out there, even though he hasn't looked that good.
From broken collarbone to fine.
Well, they thought it was a broken collarbone. Okay, it wasn't actually broken. He's day to day.
Okay, well, assuming both of these guys are starting, who do you prefer?
Darnold.
Yeah, I was gonna say Darnold as well.
Darnold, yeah.
Darnold.
Yeah, I think he's got better weapons, and
That's true. I didn't even think about the weapons.
When was the last time a Buffalo quarterback just? I mean, that just scares me.
Jim Kelly, Drew Bledsoe.
going back a while.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick had that one good year.
Fitzpatrick had one good year and cashed out, and then that was it. Buffalo's a hard place to throw, man. It just is. I mean,
plus you got McCoy
you have
there.
To be a special quarterback.
They've already leaned on McCoy in the past, so why not do it again? Like you said, I didn't even think about the weapons that the weapons don't have that big of. The Jets don't have that big of weapons, but I mean,
they got Robbie Anderson.
It's better than they got. I mean, they got the Crow.
They got the Crow.
What else do you need?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask too. So, do you trust Kelvin Benjamin, where he's going in the draft, which is about 12th round? You wouldn't draft him in the 12th round.
Stay away from the buffet.
For the 12th round, I mean, yeah, be fine, but I wouldn't count on him, or I wouldn't be wanting to count on him to provide serviceable play.
Yeah, but you'd rather have Josh Allen thrown to him then, right?
Just real quick, where do you see Kelvin Benjamin going?
Well, according to his ADP,
I think he's like a mid.
Said he was 12th round.
He's 12th rounder, yeah. 111 or 112. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all good.
So he's just your late round stash.
Super late round stash. He's not bad if he just like.
I wouldn't touch him.
He just looked fat.
Yeah.
I mean, Newton doesn't like him apparently, so if he doesn't like him, then how can I like the guy?
There you go.
So, I mean, both of those guys you're not going to count on from a fantasy standpoint probably this year.
No.
Yeah, you're not drafting either one of them. They still have a lot of people in their way to get to that starting spot.
The other guy that I was going to lump in with them who could be starting out in Arizona is Josh Rosen, the 10th pick going from UCLA.
The Rosencopter coming back.
Now they do have Sam Bradford.
Well, it's just a matter of time before he's.
From what I've heard, Rosen has been the guy all preseason. So
it's a matter of time. You know, quarterbacks are really hard. You know, quarterbacks coming into the league, they have a hard time, and not everybody's gonna be like Deshaun Watson. Okay, like the baby goat, just going in there, just lighting the league on fire, which he will do. He will do this year. He'll be a top 3 quarterback this year. Guarantee it.
Yeah, we went over that last week.
I'm just throwing it out there, but like aside from Baker Mayfield, I mean.
Okay, so Josh Rosen, we're feeling the same as we did about Darnell Allen, right? Okay, what about this last guy? Because if he gets promoted to a starter, this is a guy that could have the fantasy impact. The 32nd pick in the draft, Lamar Jackson out of Louisville going to the Baltimore Ravens.
I think it's going to take more to get Flacco out of there. They're not just going to They're just not going to supplant him with Jackson. I think Rosen's going to start before Jackson will.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. But if if the Ravens come out, they're not playing well. I mean, they're eventually going to give Lamar a chance if they're not playing well. And I mean, he's got the rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, probably. So I think he has the biggest upside of
from a fantasy standpoint.
Fantasy standpoint, yes.
I would definitely prefer Lamar Jackson over Rosen, but from just a team perspective, I think Rosen's going to start, and I'd probably, as a team, I'd want him to start over Lamar Jackson right now anyways.
Oh yeah, but just from fantasy, which is what we're talking about, Lamar Jackson could be a fantasy player at some point during this year, a starting quarterback.
Yeah, and you'd only play him because he can run the ball.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see it happening.
And he likes to chunk it deep too.
Chunk it deep to my boy Krabs.
I don't think he runs deep routes anymore.
He's like 10 and out.
I mean,
man.
he can try.
5 and out, 7 and out.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't the Ravens get Jaron Brown? One of the Browns from Arizona. Was it John Brown? Oh, Jaron Brown went to Seahawks.
Touchdown yesterday.
Yeah, so he's got his deep threat right there.
So that's our rookie quarterback. So I did some research in the offseason when it comes to rookies.
Okay.
So let me tell you what I found out about rookie quarterbacks from a fantasy perspective. So what would you consider a good rookie quarterback, as in where they ranked in quarterbacks for fantasy? Like a good quarterback in general.
Top 10.
Yeah.
I did top 15 just to be a little bit nicer.
I was going to say top 10 to top 15, yeah.
So top 15, that's your 10 starters, plus with bye weeks, there's 5 extra guys. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So since 2010, so 2010 through 2017, there have been 29 quarterbacks taken in the first 3 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, I'll just keep it at that. Most of these guys got a chance to play, and they were drafted in the first 3 rounds. 7 of them finished as a top 15 quarterback their rookie year. So 24% of your rookie quarterbacks drafted in the first 3 rounds finished top 15.
Wow, that's a lot more than I expected.
Those guys are Cam Newton.
Okay.
He finished 3rd his rookie year.
Okay. How many years is this? How many of the past years?
Since 2010. This is 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay, that's what I did. Yeah, 8 years.
RG3.
Cam Newton was 3rd. Andy Dalton was 15th.
Duh.
His rookie year. Okay, Andrew Luck was 9th. RG3 was 5th. Russell Wilson was 10th. Jameis Winston was 13th.
Really?
Dak Prescott was 6th. Now, one guy that's not included in that because he got hurt last year was obviously Deshaun Watson. But probably if he played the entire year, he would have fit in that category too.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
so when you're thinking of rookie quarterbacks, only 24% of them finish as like playable fantasy quarterbacks.
That's still a lot to me. 24%.
You think?
Yeah, because you gotta also factor in that some of the rookie quarterbacks that were drafted didn't start at all, or they only started part of the season. So all those guys you named, probably like Luck, Griffin, they started right away, so they have the capability of making it that high.
Right, but for all those guys, there's guys like Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder that started right away.
You tell me Blaine Gabbert didn't make it top 15?
He was 28th.
Deshaun Kaiser.
Oh, poor Kaiser.
Gross.
I saw Blaine Gabbert at a bar
even guys
once.
like Jared Goff and Carson Wentz finished 37th and 24th their rookie year.
And Jared Goff did pretty good last
both
year.
of them were top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So just be wary when you're coming to your drafting rookie quarterback. So out of those 5 we talked about, that means the odds say probably only one of them is going to finish as a top 15 quarterback.
So we can just transfer that to a game real quick. Which one's going to be a top 15 quarterback?
Man, it's got to be one of the guys that's going to be starting from week 1.
Yeah, I mean, they got to start, yeah. I'm going, what? There's not a lot to pick from.
Josh Allen? I don't know.
I think it's either Josh Allen or Darnold.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say Josh Rosen.
You're hoping for an early.
Got the most weapons around him.
Yeah.
Rosen or Darnold?
I'm gonna say Rosen. I think they're gonna start Rosen. They'll like what they see. They start him the whole year. He's got Fitz, David Johnson, Christian Kirk, bunch of weapons.
I don't think any of them, but if I had to pick, I'd go Darnold.
And there has been years where there's been none, like last year, for instance.
Yeah. But I threw out the game, so might as well pick one.
All right. Let's move on to running backs. The first running back off the board was the second pick in the draft, Saquon Barkley, going from Penn State to the New York Giants. Now, this is a consensus top 6 pick. Top 6, top 7 pick, right?
I'm a little worried about that.
You're worried about it?
A little bit.
What are your concerns, Matt?
It's not so much concerns. I think he's gonna be a good running back, but where he's getting drafted right now, that's so high for a running back that's unproven. I think he's getting the benefit of the doubt from the past rookies from like last year, Fournette, and then Gurley, how he did good his first year. I think that's kind of bumping him up a little bit. So I looked up the Giants' offensive line. They're ranked like bottom 25.
Yeah, their offensive line is awful.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a home run hitter too. So if he's not getting those big runs, I don't know how that's going to work out for him.
First carry of the preseason.
Yeah, well, like I said,
like
it was a good run. I'm not saying he's a bad running back. I'm just saying I don't know.
You personally wouldn't draft him with if you had top 6 pick.
Top 6, no. I had top 15. I would.
Okay, Ethan, what are your thoughts on Saquon?
Personally, I don't know about top 6, but I don't think you're crazy for going. I mean, who you gonna? Kamara or Saquon?
That's the big debate that I've seen everywhere: is Kamara or Saquon?
One's proven it.
One's proven it. One has much. The safer pick is definitely going to be, my boy, but I don't know, man. I'm just not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a total stud. Have you seen the guy's freaking thighs? They're like bigger than me.
Eli.
Okay.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's a freak. But I mean, he looks good, but it's the team that scares me more than anything. But with that said, I still think he's gonna have a good year. I still think he's gonna have a decent, you get him in the top 10, you're not crazy. Put it to you that way.
Oh, he'll be
he's
a
still
running back 2
1.
at top. Yeah, I was gonna say running back 2 at worst for sure.
Yeah, I think he's got a good. I think he's got a relatively safe floor. I think he's got a really nice ceiling, but I just think there's slightly safer options out there that you could go with before him.
And one more thing that bothers me is not even about him, just about people in general. Is they said he's like a once-in-a-decade running back. How many of these once-in-a-decade running backs are we going to have?
Right. Oh, my thing glitched out there. I'm back.
Oh, did you not hear what I just said? Then?
I've been gone for 20 seconds. What'd you say?
I didn't notice. I was going to say, what bothers me. Right, yeah. What I was saying was, people keep saying he's a once-in-a-decade running back, but how many, if he's a once-in-a-decade running back, how many once-in-a-decade running backs are there? We had Fournette, we had Gurley. That's 2 in the past, 3 years already? I think I had Barkley to that.
Maybe he's better than him.
Trent Richardson.
Yeah.
He wasn't that good, but
he was serviceable in his first year. I guess he got tired of getting hit or something.
So Saquon probably. I mean, we said probably running back 1 at worst, running back 2.
Yeah.
He's being drafted. ADP is 6 or 7. So he's being drafted, expected to be a guy that can carry you.
Yeah.
He's a guy you definitely want to have on your hit list, your draft board, but I'm not reaching for him, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean,
I might eat crow.
If that makes any sense for a first rounder.
You might eat crow. The crow.
Caw-caw.
All right, 2 more first-round running backs. Rashad Penny going from San Diego State to the Seattle Seahawks, and Sony Michel going from Georgia to the New England Patriots.
I don't know how these people are being drafted this high. I don't get it. Seahawks have one of the worst. They have a worse O-line than And the Giants do.
Yeah.
And then
Their
they've
offensive
already.
line is almost as bad as ours, the Texans.
Yeah.
And plus, they have Chris Carson, who
Yeah.
apparently is back in form. He was coming around. He was the only guy that could get out of the backfield last
Also,
season.
Rashad Penny has a broken hand right now, or broken finger, whatever he has.
So he's not even on my radar, personally.
Yeah.
What about Sony Michel?
Interesting.
Who does he play for again?
The Pats.
Exactly.
So that's the scary part.
That's
He
very
is a
scary.
Pats running back.
You got the great white hype, Rex Burkhead back
They got
there.
Rex Burkhead. They got
And you
James
have
White. They got
Father
Mike
Time, James White. Gillislee. They got Jeremy freaking
They got
over
Jeremy
the hill.
Hill.
And then they got
Plus-
this kid.
Sony Michel, who has a bit of a knee injury in the preseason. Lots of things going against him there.
Okay, I'll play a little devil's advocate real quick, just with one little comment that Dion Lewis did leave. He was their leading rusher last
Oh,
year.
we know Dion Lewis, don't we, Ethan?
Don't get me started on Dion.
So they're gonna need to fill that gap right there. He could be the guy that does that.
Here's another positive comment I'll make. They wouldn't have. The Pats are very smart with the way they draft. They would not have spent a first-round pick on him if they did not intend on using him.
No, that's true.
That's
That's
true.
true. But how strongly do we feel about the safety in drafting Sonny Michel? I mean,
I'd
to me,
rather
he's
have
like
Burkhead.
a mid to late round flyer. You know, like a
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Burkhead to start out with.
I'd rather have Burkhead, and he's going 5 picks later. So,
yeah.
and
So
the one thing that could cost him is that he apparently has fumbling issues as well. And if you fumble with Bill Belichick, that could put you in the doghouse for like 4 games right there.
oh yeah.
Who was the
That's
guy
Jonas
like?
Gray. Jonas Gray.
Yeah. Yeah. After a 200-yard
Dude,
game,
four-
you're sitting
four
the bench.
touchdowns. And I started him the next week.
Feels good.
He got like 1 point.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Okay, another Georgia running back going to the Cleveland Browns. We have Nick Chubb, who is currently in line to be the backup to Carlos Hyde,
The old Chubster.
the Chubster.
I'm not liking him either. I'll be honest.
I don't like him either.
Okay. Well, because before, for those listening, before we got on, me and Ryan were talking about. Well, Ryan said there's going to be a lot of fantasy impact players that are rookies, and I kind of disagreed.
Well, what I
And
said is that all these guys were everybody past Saquon Barkley right now. They're not necessarily the starter right now, but all these guys could easily win the job by the time the season's over and be fantasy impact guys. I just don't know starting out that they're going to be.
Oh no, that's a really crowded backfield, and you know Hugh Jackson and Duke Johnson. Okay.
Hugh Jackson. Got to bring him up.
Ethan's a big fan of Hugh.
Exactly.
Huge fan of Hugh.
Huge.
Yeah.
But,
purifying your body in the waters of Lake Minnetonka or whatever the hell that is. Washing away the loser. I'm gonna win here, not the team, but yeah.
So you know Duke
it's
is
gonna
getting the
take an
third down
injury.
work.
Do it.
Duke's getting the third down work. Duke Johnson's getting the third
Yeah.
down work for sure. And then
So
Carlos Hyde's looked great in the preseason. I think it's going to take a lot to put Chubb over him. If anything, it's going to be another like running back by committee that's taken over the league by storm. Yeah.
And
So-
Cleveland, I feel like, is more of a passing team, too.
oh yeah.
Yeah. With all the wide receivers they just got.
Or maybe that's what Hugh wants you to think, huh?
Ooh.
Yeah. They might just punt it on third down, so you never know.
They're just better off just kicking field goal.
Play the field position game.
Play the field, yeah.
Inside the 20 and kick a field goal. You'll win a game.
So I'm
Okay, a
not
few
feeling
more
good
second
at,
round. A few more second round running backs. Matt's not feeling good about Chubb. Doesn't like the
No.
Chubb. He likes the Chubb, but not that Chubb.
Hey.
Oh, Ronald Jones. I guess Junior. He's got the 2 after. That would just be Junior. I don't know why I didn't put Junior.
No, he's the second Ronald Jones ever.
Just the second ever.
Yeah, ever, yeah.
Damn. Lucky him. It's a cool name.
Well, if he was the first, that'd be better. But
Ronald Jones, Roman numeral 2, was the 38th pick in the draft, going from USC to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, he could be starting week 1. Very high possibility.
Could be.
I know they like Peyton
I'll give
Barber.
you one stat while he's not. Are you ready?
Tell me. Yes.
In the preseason, he has 12
Wait,
carries.
what did you say in the preseason? Oh, that's right. Preseason don't matter.
When you got more carries than you have yards, it does matter. He has 12 carries for 11 yards.
Okay, he's got the second string line blocking for him.
He's also got the second string defense going against him.
Defense wins championships.
They've already said that Peyton Barber is going to be starting. What?
Peyton Barber's not bad.
That didn't even make sense.
Yeah. What is that? Peyton Barber is going in the 14th round, and he's the starter right now.
Ronald Jones, Roman numeral 2, is going to be getting some carries, though.
Yeah, for negative losses.
38th overall, then you got to toss a biscuit here or there, don't you?
Let me give you a quote by his running back coach. He said, "There's probably a reason they only threw to Jones 17 times in college." That's from his coach.
Who
That means he got them stone
guy?
hands.
Well, we're not paying him to catch the ball. We're paying him to run the ball.
Well, you can't do that either. Look, 11 yards.
I feel like every year there's some random like Tampa Bay guys that everybody's high on and they don't do shit.
Yeah. Are you gonna be high on this guy in the 7th round?
Oh, look, I'm just trying to advocate for the guy.
Boy, that's gonna be hard.
We can't all shit on him.
Well, you can advocate a bench spot for him if you want.
Maybe I will. I'll give you the Crow. You give me Ronald Jones.
Deal.
Okay. I'll play that game.
I meant a bench
another
spot on the
second round
Bucks, not on
guy
your
that
team.
got taken. What? Oh, on the bench. On the Bucks? Not my
On the
team.
Bucks, yeah, not on your team. But you can still have him.
Okay. Kerryon Johnson, 43rd pick in the draft, going from Auburn to the Detroit Lions. They're very high on the carry on. Carry on, my wayward son.
Carry on, my wayward son.
It's a hell of a fantasy team name.
Would you draft
It's
him
gonna be
just for
overused.
I might stick him at the end of my bench so I could be that team.
that?
Well, he is going in the
And then-
6th round right
and then
now,
drop him
so
week 1. Yeah, I know. He's actually been. He actually is a guy that might be a flex player right off the bat.
for some reason his draft position has gone up 9 spots over the past 7 days. So
I can tell you why. Because the guy in front of him is named Theo Riddick.
yeah, they got the Abdullah Obligata.
I thought they
Didn't you tell me
cut the
last week that they were
Abdullah
trying to
Obligado.
trade his ass?
Well, they still have him. They haven't traded him yet, and they got Blunt.
And they have LeGarrette. They got Blunt, but he's just going to come in the goal line.
Vulture.
Okay, we'll play a little game real quick with old Carry On or the running backs for Lions. Guess
All right.
the year or the last running back that got 100 yards in a game.
Javid Best.
No, but he was a good running back for the
Reggie-
whole time.
Reggie
Daquan
Bush.
Bell.
Reggie Bush.
It was Reggie Bush in 2013 on Thanksgiving.
Gross.
That was 5 years ago.
That's gross, dude.
You could almost like luck into a 100-yard game by anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's
That's
your
what.
point?
I mean, that's what kind of worries me a little bit is the Lions. They have like 4 guys that.
Maybe they just had shitty running backs.
Oh, that. I mean, yeah, they have. But I will say that one thing that I did read on Reddit is, I know Reddit's probably not a good source, but they were saying if you throw Carry On out there, at least you kind of confuse the defense on what you're going to do. They're not sure if they're going to run the ball or throw it. When you have Riddick out there, odds are you're throwing the ball, and when you got Blunt out there, odds are you're running the ball. So you get kind of a dual threat with him.
Okay, so of all the guys we've talked about, obviously Saquon is number 1. Do we like Kerryon Johnson better than all the other guys we've talked about so far?
Yes.
Yeah. Better than Ronald Jones, Nick Chubb, Sonny Michel, and Rashad Penny?
Barring injury, yes.
That goes without saying, I think.
Yeah.
He's like I said, he's a guy that you said ADP is 6th round right now, so he's a guy that people are drafting kind of to shoot in that flex spot right off the bat.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm drafting him, but I like him better than all the other guys.
Speaking of injury, we had to give a shout out real quick because this was going to be looking like maybe a running back 2 starting out is Darius Geis. 59th pick going from LSU to Washington Redskins. We all know what happened. Tore his ACL in practice.
That's a guy that I was kind of a little excited about, but RIP, press F to pay respects.
Yep. Had to throw him in there, though. How to give him a shout for once for the season since he's not going to get any more.
But hey, you got AP in there now.
About to say, you got old Peterson in there.
Oh, Adrian Peterson. What do we think about that? Is he going to do anything?
I think that he has.
I'd draft him later rounds.
Do something.
How late?
Past the 12th.
What's his ADP right now?
Oh, I don't even know if it's even been updated. I can look though.
Guess they didn't bring back Fat Rob.
I think he's still there. It's just
he was still there.
Adrian Peterson is currently getting drafted 311. So
great value.
But I don't know if this has been updated. Obviously, not as many people are doing mock drafts. Some people have already drafted by now. So I could see myself taking him super late, though. I'm not wasting a good draft pick on him.
I think it's a bit of a reach, but I don't know. Maybe he has one more magical season left in him.
Yeah,
I'd rather take a chance
decent.
on one of these rookies.
He looked decent with the Cardinals, and I think he's better than Rob Kelly or P. Ryan.
Yeah, and they were kind of in a bad spot last year with the Cardinals because it was just stack the box time and.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think with in the right situation, he could be a flex, a good flex. Maybe he has a higher ceiling than that, or you know. But
the running back,
I'm not
running back to own there is Chris Thompson.
Yeah.
Especially in PPR.
Okay, one more running back that got drafted in the third round with the 71st pick is Royce Freeman going from Oregon to the Denver Broncos. Everything I've heard out of Denver is that this guy might be the week 1 starter over Devontae Booker.
Yeah, and this is the rookie running back to own, with the exception of Barkley.
With the exception of Saquon Barkley. So you like Royce Freeman better than Kerryon Johnson?
Yes.
I can't believe I forgot about him.
He's going to get the opportunity. All you have behind him is Booker.
Yeah.
And don't forget, C.J. Anderson was a top 20 running back last year.
He was.
And he could easily just take the spot of C.J. Anderson right now.
And if Case Keenum comes in there and reignites their passing game, then he's going to get even more openings in the running game.
Exactly. So. One thing I did hear, he's kind of a bigger running back, so I don't know if he has those cuts like most running backs do, but if you're getting the opportunity, you take opportunity over skill sometimes. So
I heard he's the same size as Jordan Howard.
Is it? He's 6'2", 230, so he's a big boy.
No,
I can look up Jordan Howard real quick.
Biggin.
I heard he was actually he has a little bit better speed though.
Yeah, Jordan Howard's 6'1", 225, so about the same. Hopefully he can catch better than Jordan Howard, I'll say that.
Okay, so I'm going to let you know what my research revealed when it comes to rookie running backs since 2010. So for running backs, I did if they finished top 34. Okay, I picked 34 because there was like one guy at 34. I included him in there. Top 34 running back. That means that covers pretty much running backs and flexes, right? So there were 55 running backs drafted since 2010 in the first 3 rounds. 21 of them finished top 34, so 38%.
Where's my drop at? I can't use it.
Done, A1?
Thank you.
There you go. So those guys, I can read them off real quick. There's 21 of them, but it'll be quick. We got Ryan Matthews, Javid Best, DeMarco Murray, Trent Richardson, Doug Martin, Giovanni Bernard, Le'Veon Bell, Eddie Lacy, Jeremy Hill, Trey Mason, Terrence West, Todd Gurley, TJ Yeldon, Duke Johnson, David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt. Last year was the running back kind of rookie holy grail there.
Yeah.
Delicious crop.
I think if you're going to draft a running back this year, or not a running back, a rookie this year, it's got to be a running back.
Yeah.
I don't see any other positioning where you draft a rookie.
For the most part, yeah.
So 38% of running backs turn into decent fantasy players.
That was top 3 rounds?
Yeah, top 3 rounds.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of teams are drafting running backs first rounds now. There was a while there where they wouldn't spend their first round pick on a running back, but seem to be going against that now.
It's cycling back.
Yeah, it seems to be working
so
too.
Finally, done talking about the running backs. Let's go on to some wide receivers now. This is going to be. There's not much we can offer about running backs. I mean, wide receivers, just because we just don't really know yet. Most of these guys are like third in line, waiting behind some guys. We just don't really know how the quarterback's going to throw to him yet. But there were 2 first-round wide receivers: DJ Moore going from Maryland to the Carolina Panthers, and Calvin Ridley going from Alabama to the Atlanta Falcons. Both of these guys can have immediate opportunities. Mainly DJ Moore because, I mean, the Panthers' best receiver is Devin Funchess. After that, there's not a whole lot in front of him.
You still got to worry about McCaffrey and Olsen a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, McCaffrey and Olsen. But as far as just receivers go, I mean, he should have every opportunity. He did get cited today for driving 113 miles an hour.
I was gonna bring
Feels good.
So he's got the speed at least.
He's got the speed. He's got the getaway speed.
Yeah, I'd agree with that though. Moore is probably the more likely one to actually get some opportunity there.
But Calvin Ridley, who's probably, I mean, a lot of people considered him a top 10 pick 2 years ago, fell off a little bit. But if Matt Ryan gets back on track and with all the attention going to Julio, if Calvin Ridley's the number 2 there, if he passes up Mohamed Sanu, then I mean, he might be a decent
you got the Bama boys.
The deep league flex play.
League flex play.
I'll tell you later after we can go through all these rookie wide receivers and I'll tell you why you shouldn't be drafting a rookie wide receiver, but
Wookie
Wookie
wide receiver.
If it was a Wookiee wide receiver, then I'd probably draft him because that'd be badass. But
shit, that'd be the best player in the league.
Playing the wrong position.
Okay, some second round wide receiver. I'm just gonna name these guys off because there's not much to say about them.
There's one.
Cortland Sutton. Is that the guy?
No.
Okay. Cortland Sutton going from SMU to the Denver Broncos. Dante Pettis, son of Astros third base coach Gary Pettis. Going from Washington to the San Francisco 49ers. Christian Kirk, my boy, going from Texas A&M to the Arizona Cardinals. And Anthony Miller going from Memphis to the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
I think I know who Matt likes.
The Bears.
He likes Anthony Miller.
I don't like him. But I'd say if you were to draft one rookie wide receiver, that would be the one to draft.
You'd take Anthony Miller over Christian Kirk, who they say is the number 2.
Well, I was going to give some respect to Christian Kirk as well, just because John and Jerron Brown both left, so he could be taking over that place. And you got Fitzgerald on the other side.
Christian Kirk might throw in a punt return or 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah? So
Sorry.
on a scale between Hugh Jackson and Deion Lewis, where are you with them?
With Christian Kirk, probably a solid Gary Kubiak there.
So 9-7.
Yeah.
So lukewarm. Is that where we're at?
Christian Kirk will be out there battling,
No, but you can get him without drafting him though. Oh, you can get both of them without drafting them, to be honest. I like Miller better because he's a slot receiver.
100% Christian Kirk gets drafted in our league.
Okay, well I guess I know by who.
No, I'm saying half the league.
Oh, yeah, that's
His
true.
Aggies.
I don't know if he's getting drafted. I mean, you don't have to draft him. That's the thing. But hey, if you want to waste a draft pick on him, go for it.
Well, you didn't have to draft Braxton Miller 2 years ago, and he went in the 10th round. So
maybe he'll be this year's Cooper Kupp. You know, you never know.
I'm gonna say if you were to draft one, go with Miller because he's more likely to get drafted in your league than Kirk is. So if you actually want him,
so you should just do what everybody else is doing.
No, I'm saying if you want Miller, then you're gonna have to draft him. If you want Kirk, you can pick him up off the waivers.
Why is Anthony Miller better than Christian Kirk?
I didn't say that. I just said if you want Miller,
why would you draft him?
Because you're not listening to me.
Noobs.
Plus, I mean, I do like slot receivers. They're more, they have a better tendency of getting targets. So especially with a second-year quarterback.
Dante Pettis or Cortland Sutton doing anything for you guys? Apparently Denver really likes Sutton. I just don't see it sitting behind DT and Emmanuel
Doesn't
Sanders.
tickle my balls at all.
Yeah, third wide receiver. I'm not touching him.
Last guy who might get an opportunity, mainly because the team he's going to might have the worst receivers in the league, is Michael Gallup, going from Colorado State to the Dallas Cowboys. Kid was a
I will say
in college.
I will say he doesn't have much competition, so that's good for him.
All you gotta
Witten
do
and
is be
Des
better than
left.
Terrence Williams.
Alan Herons, Cole Beasley. Like, are they really
Exactly.
doing anything for you?
I might be able to get some reps on the Cowboys.
Yeah, I might.
I didn't actually
You're
realize
very
his
well,
his ADP is 145, so he's getting drafted
So
too.
he's getting drafted. Barely. Barely.
Barely.
Barley.
All right, here's my research on wide receivers real quick. What we got here?
Well, I have my own.
Hey.
This guy.
Well, you want to do yours first or me first?
Well, it might be the same as the rookie wide receivers. I'm guessing it is because that's who we're talking about, right?
Well, yeah. What else is it going to be about?
Okay, so
Here's what
yeah, go ahead.
okay, I'll go. Since 2010, there have been 100 rookie wide receivers drafted in the first 3 rounds. 100 of them. Look,
Ooh.
I filled up a front and back of this notebook paper.
God dang, 47.
How many of those 100 do you think finished in the top 50?
I'm gonna say
10.
15%.
So 15 of them since it's 100.
15%.
I'm saying 10.
I'm going percentage. I thought we were doing
Okay,
percentage.
but
here.
I'm saying it's out of 100. So any percentage would just be that number.
Math.
Man, I didn't go. I went to different part of school.
So did I.
So do we.
Okay, the answer was 22.
Oh, okay, higher than I thought.
22 guys finished in the top 50 for rookie wide receiver, or for fantasy wide receivers the rookie season. Some of those guys, like Des Bryant, barely squeaked in. He was number 48 his rookie year.
Barely.
Some other guys that finished top 50. We got AJ Green, Julio Jones, Titus Young, if you remember him.
Oh.
Torrey Smith, Justin Blackman, he gone.
Oh, wow.
Cordarrelle
I forgot about
Patterson,
him.
Terrence Williams, Keenan Allen had a really good rookie year. Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, Kelvin Benjamin,
Sam.
Jordan Matthews, Jarvis Landry, John Brown, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Sterling Shepard, Michael Thomas, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Cooper Kupp.
There's some pretty good receivers there.
And there's a lot that didn't finish top 50.
Yeah. Oh,
A lot.
88. Or no, 78.
But even so we're thinking about, you're just thinking of big names. Here's guys that didn't finish top 50 that you probably thought would. Alshon Jeffrey did not finish top 50. Randall Cobb, Eric Decker. DeAndre Hopkins didn't finish top 50 his rookie year. So, I mean, these are some big names that are now big-time fantasy guys that just didn't have the rookie seasons. Brandon Cooks didn't finish. Devontae Adams. What other names jumping out here? That's about it for big names. But you get the point.
Get the point. So what I was going to say is, so I had my own research, These are from the years 2000 to 2017. So that's 17 years. And Ethan, you might have seen this on Reddit
18.
if you checked it out. Yeah, sorry. 18. So would you say like a good game for a wide receiver in standard would be like 10 points? That's a solid game. You take that, right?
You couldn't ask for much more in standard from a receiver. Really.
So for
Okay, Matt,
rookies,
we're playing your game. What you got?
So for rookies, in the first 8 weeks of the season, from those 18 years, there was only 6 wide receivers that scored 10 points half the time. So 4 weeks in those first 8 weeks.
Ooh.
So 6 wide receivers in 18 years did that. And that number jumped up to 17 from the week 9 to week 16.
So once they got acclimated.
Exactly. Or they got the playing time they needed. So I'm saying is if you're going to go for
what
a
you're
rookie,
saying is you can wait on rookie receivers.
Exactly. I'd start looking around like week 5, week 7, see which rookies are getting those targets where they're starting to incline a little bit, and then maybe just throw them on your bench and see what happens. But like I said, I wouldn't waste a draft pick on them.
Solid.
So basically, you're saying like last year, Juju Smith-Schuster ended up as the number 18 wide receiver, but he didn't really emerge till about quarter of the way, midway through the season.
Exactly. Yeah. I picked up him in both my leagues. I was in off waivers, and he could easily be a starter the rest of the way after that.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know where he's going. I mean, he's getting drafted in the top 6 rounds, I think. So.
Yeah. I've seen him go in the 5th. I've seen him go in the 4th in some mock drafts that I've been in.
Yeah. So, like I said, just wait.
He's got some high value to him this year.
So that kind of wraps up our rookie talk. As far as tight ends, there were a couple like Hayden Hurst, Jordan Andrews that might get opportunities, but it's just not enough to talk about those guys. There's a lot of good veteran or tight ends that you can draft.
Yeah, if you're not getting, like I said, I think we said last week, if you're not getting the top 3, you might as well just wait.
Anything else to add on these rookies, guys?
No. Like I said, if you're gonna draft one, make it a running back, I think. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I would steer clear of pretty much anything else other than a running back, unless you wanted to take a late flyer on a stashable wide receiver. And that's about it.
Yep.
So that wraps up our rookie talk for the offseason here. 1 second. So next week we are going to have our Fantasy and Chill Ranking Summit.
Ooh,
so we talked about this last week, but we're all going to put together our rankings. We're going to talk about them and then combine to make one big cumulative Fantasy and Chill rankings that hopefully people can use in their drafts. All right.
Can't wait.
What else was I going to say?
So excited.
Oh, follow us on Matt. You have all our @s. Go through those real quick.
Yep. Should be @Fantasy and Chill on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on iTunes, Fantasy and Chill, and YouTube, Fantasy and Chill. Everything Fantasy and Chill.
Fantasy football needs. If you follow us on Instagram, you get some great photoshops that Matt puts up every week.
Yep. And you got an update on Adrian Peterson yesterday. Fresh off the press.
All right. I think that's it. I think we're good to go. Join us next week for our rankings. And we out.
Right.